Hey guys, it's ya boy, Desolator Magic. And if you aren't familiar with that intro, you need to go over to Wavy's channel immediately, link in the description. Up until recently, we both had exactly 38,000 subs, but then his channel went and blew up and now he's at like 60. So there's only one proper course of action. Everybody go over to Wavy's channel, go to the latest video, and post "Weren't you that one guy from Lord of the Rings?" He absolutely was not an actor in Lord of the Rings, and he doesn't look like any of them. So that explains that. So anyway, a couple days ago, Wizards posted something deeply disturbing on one of their articles announcing Ultimate Masters. A lot of people breezed right past it, but these were the two most important sentences in the entire article. They stated, and I quote, "Let's start with the big news. Yes, we're shelving the Masters series for the foreseeable future. We are instead focusing on other products that will include reprints. We'll talk more about those when the time comes." I feel like I should put like spooky music over that last part. It's like foreboding. Yes, Mr. Bond, we're going to hide the reprints where you least expect it. But we'll talk more about that when the time comes. So there's one thing I gotta get straight in case anybody's a little bit confused. Magic needs reprints. I mean, look at the reserve list and what it did to Legacy and Vintage. You can't play it. It is too expensive, period. People have resorted to trying to slip counterfeit cards into like official tournaments for huge cash prizes, and they're all getting caught. And that's a whole scene then, so yeah, it's getting pretty bad. Remember, the number one rule about Magic is that people have to be able to afford to play Magic. Anything else past that, the meta, balancing, fairness, deck types, mechanic choices, nothing matters if people can't afford to play the game in the first place, or if the game becomes not fun because of the deck archetypes. Fun and affordable are the two golden rules of Magic the Gathering, of which apparently Wizards is completely unaware. So obviously we do need reprint sets, and we can't have them in Standard. I mean, you can't just throw in hyper-powerful broken cards and then hope that they don't ruin Standard. I mean, you could be careful enough, but it's so dangerous, I don't think they would do it. Also, you throw in universal wide-open staples like a really good land, like a fetch land, well, what happened last time? I mean, it was kind of idiotic to mix a 3-color-oriented set with fetch lands. That was just its own level of stupid. But then, it was just too expensive to play Standard, plain and simple. If you got Standard people who want the cards, need the cards to build basically anything because it's part of the mana base, and then you've got, everybody else in every other format who wants them. And then those two groups have to compete with investors, so it just doesn't work. There's certain cards like Snapcaster Mage that you just couldn't drop into Standard. You couldn't do it. I mean, look at Mission Briefing and Torrential Gearhulk. Like, that mechanic is just too good. It's too universally amazing. So what they need is a way to consistently reprint a fairly large amount of cards that are getting too expensive. To one, capitalize on that. Wizards wants to make some money on the secondary market by making it the primary market. I don't have a problem with that. It's their game. If they made a card that's worth $80, cash in on it. They created the card. At least they're not selling singles directly to the customers. Yet, kind of. I mean, they did cancel from the vault. So we do need reprints, otherwise Modern especially, if not, the other formats, Commander and stuff, will get too expensive to play. The number of players will go up, cards get destroyed, more people build more variety of decks as they make more money, and, they tend to not disassemble them and sell them off. So then the amount of people playing Modern will go down, and Commander will go down, and just nobody's happy. So the question is, where is Wizards going to stick all these reprints? Because I think it's idiotic to get rid of the Masters product. They should have just lowered the price, kept it at the conservative, who cares, value, like a decent EV, but make it affordable, none of this $10 pack crap. Like, go back to $6.99 a pack or something, maybe even $5 a pack, but then lower the expected value to match, just don't put every $80 card in there, just put consistently good $10 cards, and then, they drop to like $3 eventually. Cool, whatever, good. And hell, I'd put masterpieces and fetch lands in every single one of them. I would alternate, 2 a year, 5 fetch lands in each, done. And then, put in like Birds of Paradise, like these like $8 to $10 cards that people really need and are really too expensive. Yes, $8 is too expensive, I'm cheap. But since they're clearly not going to do that, and if they ever did, even in the next 2 years, people would take this and shove it in their face. This is the last Masters, it's the last one, it's the final one, give us all your money. They'd be like, what the hell, Wizards? You said this is the last one and you're bringing it back already. So I think we're not going to see them. We might see a similar product, but I mean, what would they even call it? Let's go down that avenue first. What if they literally just don't call it Masters, but it is Masters? What if they just call it Reprint Set 2019? It's a bunch of popular reprints from other formats. People would be like, it's the same product. The only way I think they could get away with it is if they made it $3.99 a pack, so standard price, okay, drop it. Take the foils completely out of it. We're talking no foils at all. Now, why, you might ask? Well, one, because they bend, so who cares? And secondly, then you'd have like, you know how there's the older version of the card and it's like, oh, it was worth so much until they reprinted it. Oh, man. Oh, they killed all the value. Well, if you still can't get it in foil, the foil would still be pretty damn expensive. Like, if it was printed 6 times, but only one of those times was in foil and it was quite a while ago, that foil's gonna be worth some serious money to a collector. So just think about it. That would be pretty nice. So drop it to $3.99, get rid of the every foil in every pack. I mean, they can make it 1 in 4, but I would say just get rid of it completely. And then just make it a non-standard core set and make it highly draftable. I mean, then people would have fun drafting with it. I think that would be different enough that people wouldn't just say, oh, it's Masters Junior. It's watered down Masters. Ooh. Well, you might have noticed that what I just described is literally Battle Bond. Okay, I said 100% reprints of Battle Bond was what, 50% or so? Probably less. I don't know. But boy, Battle Bond sure felt like a watered down Eternal Masters to me. So, I mean, they could do that, but then it's like, oh, it's a highly draftable $3.99 set, and then also there's something just like it in the year 2, except this one's all reprints and this one's not. And you know what? Hell, put some masterpieces in it. Why not? Who cares? I mean, that would be cool. If they did that, I don't think anybody would mind. I mean, they'd be like, wow, this is cheap, it's fun, it's normal price, and you get a ton of value out of it. Like, it would be packs that you can guaranteed buy, and you could maybe even request them for prizes at F&M because they're the same price, but you'd be more likely to pull consistently high value out of them because they're just so reprint heavy and so many expensive staples. That would be really nice. I think they should do that. I don't think they're going to do that, though. So the only evidence was their exact phrasing, by the way. We are instead focusing on other products that will also include reprints. So products, plural, so more than one, but I mean, we all knew Conspiracy, Battle Bond, the draft set of the year, that always has money reprints in it. It has to, otherwise nobody would buy it. And they could be talking about Spellbook too, Signature Spellbook, because those are, like 8 predetermined cards and then 1 bonus copy of a foil. But that's 8 reprints, and they sell it for a static price. I mean, that's just stupid. Like, you can't call it a reprint set if you can only put 8 cards in it or whatever, 10, or I don't remember what it was. So that's too small. I think we can write that off as like the replacement for Masters. It would just have to be bigger. And plus, at that price point, how much money could they put in? If they put $60 worth of reprints in a $15 product, oh, it would get real ugly real quick. People would be stealing it and using Smurf accounts to like reserve 5 of them at their local gaming store with their whole family, cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody putting in pre-orders. Everybody tells me, oh, it'd be so great if they released a product that was $35 and contained $100 worth of cards. No, it would not, because 0 of them would end up in the hands of the people who actually want to play with them and actually are interested in the product for reasons other than resale or value. And plus, that crashes the prices hard on those cards. It doesn't just lower them a little bit, it obliterates their value. So what's up next? What else did they print in a year? Commander. Now, the yearly Commander products are pretty darn popular. They're very worth the money, even with the $5 price increase lately. And they can put as much money as they want in them. The only problem is they're 100% not variable. And by the way, they do include reprints, but they're not the products historically that have had like money reprints in them. I don't even think I could remember one that had above like a $10 card that actually was a reprint, not a new card for Commander. And with the front cards usually being like 10 plus, I mean, you've only got $25 to work with. What are you going to do? Drop an expensive land into it? I mean, then the entire rest of the deck better be worth 0. Not that I'm opposed to, picking up a $50 deck for like $35. That's kind of cool, and honestly, a lot of them add up to like $80. I mean, I've seen ones over 100. But the whole non-variable at all, you know exactly how many copies you're getting, you know exactly what you're buying, and the unbalance of it all, where like, you can't just buy just one because they come in sets of 5, and the store would just get stuck with the other 4. And then they can't raise the price. They can't just say, well, this deck is $47 and this one's $52 and this one's $18, based on the singles in it. You can't do that. I mean, the secondary market will do that because it's real, but Wizards can't do that. So I just feel like Commander wouldn't be the product either. Like, it seems on the surface like, oh yeah, because the cards are legal in all formats and they go all the way back and you could reprint anything. That's perfect. Not for that price and not for that predetermination. It just doesn't work. So what else we got? Well, Anthologies. Well, unfortunately, Anthologies historically have been exact reprints of decks in the past with 0 changes. That's why they're anthologies. Plane Chase Anthology was a joke. Commander Anthology was really good. I made a ton of money on it. But the decks were unchanged. I mean, it's just a re-release of some classic old stuff that people liked. And, you know, that's cool. It is what it is. I guess you could call it reprints, but if you can't choose what goes in it, you can't really call it a reprint set. I mean, you would literally just say, well, this should be reprinted. It's getting a little high. Oh, well, it wasn't on the original deck list. So what else we got? Okay, the board games. Do I even need to go into this? Like the special weird side release, you know, gimmicky stuff. And they got the game night pack where those, you know, they are brand new. They're mostly standard oriented. The game, I think there was 2 board games. I don't remember. There was Explorers of Ixalan or whatever. I remember that. I think there's a Ravnica one that hasn't been released yet. I don't care. I'm not that into those products. I did like the design and the price, and I like them as a concept though. But weren't they like $30-$40 for the whole shebang? And once again, 100% predetermined. And there's supposed to be like draws to new people. Like there's supposed to be like an intro to Magic. That's not really where you put giant money reprints. Like that's just weird. So honestly, it's an even worse vector to get reprints into people's hands than Commander. So what else we got? The standard products. No, for all the reasons I said before, you can't just drop huge money bombs into standard. It creates a problem. If Commander players, Modern players, Vintage players, Legacy players, and Standard players all want the same card, that's bad, because if you need it for your deck idea, you're going to have to pay a lot. So dropping old money into Standard, not smart. It just automatically causes shortages and problems and makes people not be able to afford to play. Well, what's left? I guess let's hit the rest. The welcome decks. I feel like they wouldn't probably put money reprints in those. Call me crazy. Dual decks, I think they canceled those. I'm having a hard time remembering what all the new products are because they made so many damn changes. From the Vault is no more. I already mentioned Spellbook, the welcome decks, and then, the Challenger decks, but those are standard legal only, so they, by definition, cannot contain older cards. I don't think there's anything left, except for like the 3 or 4 products I forgot that people are right now typing into the comment section. Well, let's revisit the standard product for a second. Masterpieces, because remember, they aren't legal for standard except in sealed, and they're worth a ton of money, but it's like, would you even call that a reprint? I mean, they're more of a collector's item. They're basically not legal for tournament play. I don't care what anybody says. If you've got them and the rest of your deck isn't foil, there's a really good chance that that card's curve is going to cause somebody to call a judge and call it a marked card, because you'll be able to spot it in your deck. You'll especially be able to see the little tiny arching if it's on top of your deck, and that's cheating whether you're intending to or not. So casual play, okay, wonderful. Honestly, a curved card, a bent card is going to screw with your shuffling anyway. They also weigh a different amount, and they have a different amount of springiness, so they tend to not randomize correctly when you shuffle them. Well, then the Masterpiece frames cost more than the original damn card does. So it's like, okay, not what I would call the ideal reprint at any print volume. The other thing is they're crazy rare. So it's really the most impractical way to stick reprints into standard without really sticking them into standard. So do I think they should bring Masterpieces back? Yes, but I originally said, and this is the solution, I don't care what anybody says, this is literally the fix for their problem. Because remember, their problem, as they stated it, was they're running out of worthwhile, valuable cards to make Masterpieces, and they don't want somebody opening a $7 Masterpiece. Wizards of the Coast stated that as the reason why they discontinued it. They're running out of good cards to select. So do Masterpieces of all the Planeswalkers in the standard set, and I don't know, maybe just all the Mythics. How about that? Or just like if there's a set of 5 of something, like the Gear Hulks, make them the Masterpieces, because, oh, there's 5 of them, cool. Well, let's just say they take 15 Mythics and make every version of it a Masterpiece, but all of them are not reprints. They're all standard unique cards. Cool, you added value to it, you suppressed the cost of standard singles by bare minimum 10%, if not 19%, which is what it was with BFZ. And nobody needs them to play the game, so you'd make the game cheaper, you'd make it more fun to open packs because you could hit a big lottery jackpot, yay. You'd turn standard into a collector's product, partially, so the collectors would be interested in it. And you would never run out of cards because all of the Masterpieces would be brand new. They'd all be brand new standard cards from the standard set. That is the solution, it always was the solution, and they should have been doing it the entire time. Maybe they didn't do it because if somebody played a Steel Leaf Champion Masterpiece, I might have to reach over the table and slap them. So that's the only way really to mathematically avoid the problem of valueless Masterpieces over time, especially over even like a year. But here's something crazy. Anybody remember what they did with the original release of, I believe it was Zendikar, I hope I'm not getting this wrong. They took extremely expensive older cards, a lot of Power 9 and stuff, and just put them in the packs. They were not standard legal. They were just crazy jackpots, basically. And you could open them. So instead of masterpieces, how about original frame and, you know, no special foil, nothing, just regular old versions of reprinted cards and make them like maybe a 1 in 8 or, you know, 1 in 16, something like that. So you might get like 1 or 2 per box. Then you're printing them at a limited volume, which is good because if you throw something into standard, it's going to get buried. Just look at the price of Scape Shift. It's like $7. It can make a draft or a pre-release extra spicy because you could play with it. Those are the rules. If it's in a pack, you can play with it. And people would be like, oh, like, you know, it's like a masterpiece, except I can actually pull one within reasonable odds. And they wouldn't even all have to be money. You know, they could just be like good. I mean, I wouldn't even just say, oh, this hasn't been printed in a while, but it's $1 bulk jank from Ice Age. Don't throw that in. Like, literally make it only cards worth $4 and up retail. Because, I mean, you know, that just paid for the whole pack then. Go original frame, original art, or I guess swap the art, who cares, but just make it the original set symbol. Or just have a set symbol kind of like, you know, I guess Masterpiece. They didn't really have a set symbol, did they? Or, well, at least some of them didn't. And maybe give them that damn infinity symbol. That looks pretty cool. Who cares? And just, you know, call them mini masterpieces or something. Whatever. It's just the blah non-foil original version of the card. Here, have some more. Mark it. And cool, you can open them in your standard packs. It would add a little value, add a little excitement, but they wouldn't be standard legal. They would just be in standard packs. I mean, I don't really see a problem with this. And it would add some spicy flavor to draft and sealed, because somebody would just pull out this whacked out card with like Infect or like Undying or something, or Persist. Oh, you just cast a pirate. I've got Annihilator too. Oh, look at you with your 1-drops. What a fast start. Dark Ritual. And I mean, the Masterpieces already did this. It would just be, you know, like I said, maybe 1 in 8 packs, which would be an average of like 4 per box. That'd be cool. That'd be enough to get them out there. They'd be guaranteed money. I mean, there's no downside. It would just be wonderful. And because there's, you know, value displacing the cost of the cards when, you know, standard boxes cost a static price, that would just result in standard getting cheaper without Wizards having to lower the price, which was the whole point of Masterpieces. The only downside would be confusing new players, where they open up a card and they're like, oh, this would be perfect for my deck. And then somebody's got to tell them, okay, I know that you opened that from a standard pack and it looks normal, but if you look at the set symbol, it's actually not legal in standard, so you can't use it. That would suck, but I mean, when has legality ever not been confusing to people who don't have it memorized, which pretty much everybody does? There's 5 sets legal right now. It's not that hard to keep track of. And if the very next thing you tell them is, but that card's worth $15, hello. Oh, you like that card? Cool. Sell it and buy 4 of whatever you actually wanted for your deck. I mean, oh, the bad news is you can't play it. The good news is you've got a pile of money. I think that would be wonderful. Just kind of take the Masters set, which nobody has a reason to buy. Just think about it. Nobody has a logical reason to buy and open 1 single pack of any Masters set ever made, other than it's fun, gambling, yay, I get to maybe get an expensive card, woo, I can put them in my trade binder and trade with them. You could say that about standard. If you're looking for 1 or 2 or 3 specific cards, you're not going to pull them from that booster, okay? It's not going to happen. So having a product that nobody has a reason to open other than investors, bulk singles, sellers, and I don't know, anybody who's going to sell anything good that comes out of it, which then what's the point? It's dumb. It's a dumb product. It's basically just for people like me that want to open it and sell the cards and make money. So why not work the reprints into what people are already buying and give them a reason to buy it and give them a little bonus, little rush of adrenaline when they pull like an $8 reprint. Oh, hey, Birds of Paradise. That's not even in this set, but hey, money. Yay. Not only do I think that's a good idea and they should do it, I think they are going to do it. I think they'll put it in the token slot, and they might also have an alternate with code cards that are redeemable on Arena, which I don't think will be 1-to-1. So they'll say, hey, now that you're buying and opening standard packs, we got 2 little surprises for you. One, you know, 10% of them or whatever will have an Arena code card in them, and, you know, you can get like 1 booster with it. Or, you know, you got a 1 in 10, 1 in 12, 1 in who cares, 15, whatever, doesn't matter. Chance at pulling like a Commander or Modern reprint. Or Legacy or Vintage, anything, doesn't matter. So it's like, hey, I get cards that I can use to play standard and build with, which, you know, that makes sense. Opening a pack of standard, it's like you need commons, you need uncommons, you need lands, you need some of the rares, you need mythics, and you can within reason trade them, because other people within reason want those exact cards. It makes a lot more sense. I still think people should just buy singles, but, you know, it makes way more sense than opening masters. So just say, yeah, you're already doing that, while on top of it, you might, you know, hit the little mini jackpot with this, and you might hit the little mini jackpot with that. So you got all these little extra chances at stuff, you know, that you didn't even know you wanted. It's a little money bonus. Oh, and FYI, because those are in there, they're going to push down the cost of singles because people are going to keep opening boxes, which will flood the supply a little bit higher, which will suppress the prices. And that is provable. That is what happened with masterpieces. Hell, that's what happened with full art lands. They added value to every single booster and all the other cards got cheaper. So in my opinion, they really should do something like that. In fact, they might just make a permanent extra card, or probably more likely just take out one common and keep it at 15 or whatever. But yeah, just like in every standard set going from here forward, the 15th card would be a Masters set card that isn't standard legal. Everybody would just remember, okay, they're in every single pack. Okay, that's easier, but they'd have to make some of them kind of duds. I mean, have you seen the majority of the Masters sets? A lot of filler. In fact, that's kind of like cross promotion where they're like, hey, you're buying standard, but you know, now we just gave you a card or one card per booster of another format. Now you're thinking about that other format. Maybe you want to play that format. Maybe you just picked up a really valuable card from that format. You're taking standard players and forcing them to own older cards that only fit in other formats. That's brilliant. I think they'll probably do that. I really do. I think they're just going to mix it together with standard and that's that. And then they're going to keep putting mild reprints into, you know, Conspiracy 3 or whatever, and Commander and all of them. But I think the heaviest way to redo them is just standard. Because remember, when they release a really bad standard set, there's nothing else to lean on. Amonkhet was trash. All the cards you needed to play Amonkhet were in Hour of Devastation, obviously, which they've already fixed that by not splitting the block. And nothing in the block could compete with energy anyway, so what was the damn point? So there were no redeeming qualities to that entire product. But what if they had, you know, every single booster had a Masters card in it? Okay, now at least bare minimum it's worth to open for that because, you know, you might hit a $40 card. So yeah, needless to say, giving people a secondary reason to buy and open, you know, standard products at all if they're otherwise bad, and give them additional reasons to buy more. Very smart idea. That's why I think that's the direction they're going. I'm almost expecting an announcement of just about this right down to the exact detail because there just is nothing more intelligent from a business standpoint. But then again, intelligence isn't really Wizard's strong point, so who the hell knows what they'll do? They might just fly a plane over America and dump reprints out of the back with little parachutes on them and just say, go catch them. Maybe they'll hide piñatas all over Gen Con and drop them mysteriously from the ceiling, and then you've got to find a bat and hit them, and then when you break them open, reprints come out. Maybe they'll just cut the crap and sell singles on Hasbro's toy website, and every reprinted card you could ever want from Modern will be there. You just be like, hey Wizards, run me off 4 snaps. I'll give me 4 of these fetches too. Yeah, they wouldn't actually do that. People are pretending like that's where they're going. There are immense legal reasons for why they're not doing that. I do like the piñata idea, however. So let me know what you think about all these ideas. Do you have any other clever ideas of where they can take the reprints and kind of stuff them into another product? If there was a brand new product, what do you think it would look like? Like, for example, I've got another idea. What if they did a box topper in every single standard box? And the box topper would just be like one booster pack of Modern Masters 4. That's dumb. I wouldn't do that. It's already hard enough to sell boxes with or without the topper and sealed or not sealed. And then, oh, well, then they got foils so they could be scaled. And box mapping is still a thing on and off. And that would be a bad idea, but I wouldn't put it past them. Also, the box toppers are searchable. I mean, they'd have to improve it a lot. So who knows? It could be a wacky idea like that. They could do anything. I mean, they're not telling us, so that's why speculation is twice as fun. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.